boys and girls, students of Buddhist Sunday School, parents, grandparents, teachers of Sunday School and moral education. May you all be well and peaceful. Today we are going to tell you a very famous Malaysian story, the legend of Mahsuri. Some of you might have heard it before, but we are going to discuss the lessons we can learn from this very famous story, the legend of Mahsuri. And for those of you who are familiar, this is associated with the island of Langkawi. Now, the word legend means a traditional story that is supposed to have a historical basis, but there is no real evidence to show that the story is true. It might be true, it might not, right? So it's a legend, a very famous classic story, a Malaysian story. And we shall show you the PowerPoint and I'll read over the narration. And afterwards, we will discuss the moral points. So let us now launch the PowerPoint. All right, the legend of Mahsuri, lessons to learn, important life lessons, moral values, also good Dharma, right, in the lessons that we are going to learn. So let us launch this PowerPoint. View show, right? And you can see the cover slide, and you can see that actually various books have been published on this story in English, in Bahasa Malaysia, as well as in Chinese. And these are the covers of some of the books published on the legend of Mahsuri, right? And we are going to go over the story based on one of the books, and I will give the commands. Now here, of course, you can see a little animation, right? The beautiful peacock, isn't it? Right? You've been to Langkawi, you can visit very interesting places. I'll tell you more at the end of the presentation. Now let us go to there's another slide from another book cover, The Legend of Mahsuri, favorite Malay classics or a legend, right? And yes, something to do with Langkawi. Mahsuri was born in Pulau Langkawi. Her family was poor. Her parents brought her up with love, so she was a very good girl. The parents were simple kampong people, poor but earn an honest living, and they brought up Mahsuri with lots of love. So good upbringing. So you can see the kampong scene. Mahsuri as the little girl feeding the chicken in the kampong ground, right? And the father probably would collect some of the jungle products like wood or some fruits to sell or whatever, right? So that is. Now, so Mahsuri grew up to be a very beautiful maiden, a young lady, right? And there was this man, also from Langkawi, the name of Kelana. So this man fell in love with Mahsuri and wanted to marry her. And finally, they were married, right? So you could see the picture of the marriage, typical Malay wedding, right? You have a sanding, and then you have kanduri, and all these things you are quite familiar. So let us, these are just some animated cartoons. Penghulu's wife. Now the Penghulu actually is the village chief, the chieftain of the village, ketua kampung lah, you can say. Right? In every village, they have a Penghulu, the chief, right, of the village. So when people have problems, they can go and consult the Penghulu, and the Penghulu also has certain powers. acting like a judge sometimes, right? The police also, because those days probably they didn't have proper courthouses, magistrates, and so on. So these penghulu have certain powers. Now, this penghulu's wife was named Wan Mahura, was called Wan Mahura. You can see this, right? Quite a nasty woman. She was jealous of Mahsuri's beauty. She was not happy that wow, this Mahsuri in the village so famous for her beauty. So she was jealous. So jealousy is not a good character trait. We discuss more of this later. So you know what this evil woman decided to do? She planned to do something evil to Mahsuri. Huh? Something bad to Mahsuri because she was jealous of her. You could see the animation. This one is a cartoon to show a jealous look, a jealous person. And this one is a sweet young maiden, very innocent, sweet, of good character. So that's Mahsuri. At that time, Kedah was attacked by Siam or Siam, we say, Malay Siam. Those days, Thailand was called Siam, or Siam. But now, of course, we know it as Thailand. Those days, Negara Siam or Siam. So, this country was quite powerful at that time. So they sent their soldiers and warriors to attack Kedah. Kedah, the state in north of the peninsula, Malaysia, isn't it? Right? You have the most north one will be Perlis. Then after you have also Kedah, right? Also at the border of the of between Thailand and Malaysia lah. So the people of Kedah went to war. Of course, they did not want to be conquered by the Siamese people, because they want independence. They are from Kedah, right? So they did not want to be conquered by the Siamese from Siam or Siam, right? And so I think the first round, they were successful. They managed to ward off the attack. So maybe the first round, Siam did not manage to conquer Kedah. Of course, those days they didn't use guns or bombs or things like that. They used traditional weapons like spears, maybe bows and arrows, parang, swords. All right, and you can see some fighting scenes here. But you must not fight. It's not a good thing. Cause a lot of suffering to yourself as well as other people. So fighting is never good, but it happens in history all throughout. So you can see the terrible suffering a war or battle brings to people. So because of the war, right, when this Siam or Siam was attacking Kedah, so Mahsuri's husband, Kelana, had to go to fight for Kedah, had to go to war. So he had to leave her. So Mahsuri was very sad. Right? She had to stay alone. So she prayed for her husband's safe return. She was living alone, right? Because she got married already, she would not stay with the parents. She was staying with the husband. But now the husband had to go to war. So she had to live on her own, right? So every day she would pray that the husband will return safely soon after the war. You see? So that is Mahsuri. Something happened one day. One day, a cloth merchant came to Mahsuri's house. So this merchant, like a trader or a businessman, selling cloth, right? Kain. And he visited Mahsuri's house. Probably he wanted to sell some pieces of cloth to Mahsuri. So of course Mahsuri talked to the merchant to discuss whether she wanted to buy the cloth or not. And during that time, you know what happened? This Penghulu's wife one Mahura saw them together. Actually, they didn't do anything wrong, actually, right? She was just talking to a cloth merchant, a trader, wanting to sell some cloth. But this one Mahura, thought of a plan, to put Mahsuri into real trouble, to frame her, to blame her for something. She had already bad or evil intentions in her heart. So that you see in one Mahura, the evil woman. And the cartoon shows a lady like this also, not of good heart, the evil intentions. Let us go on to the next slide. So what did one Mahura do? One Mahura told everyone in the village that Mahsuri had done something bad. Oh, yo, she accused Mahsuri of not being faithful to her husband. Wow, this is actually gossiping, spreading rumors. And this is wrong, to tell something that is not the truth, to gossip, empty talk, and then also to slander, to talk bad about another person without a basis. No, there is no truth. You can see the cartoon gossiping, empty talk. So, one Mahura spread the rumor lah in the kampung that this Mahsuri dia buat sesuatu yang jahat, yang salah. What she did? She accused Mahsuri of not being faithful. Alright, she said that Mahsuri was actually going with the other man, the cloth merchant. Maybe they did something not so good lah. Maybe they had an intimate relation lah. All these things not true, no. So she accused Mahsuri of not being loyal and faithful, but going after another man, the cloth merchant. That was what she told people in the village. And of course, many people like to listen to rumors and gossip and things like that. So, as expected, the villagers believe a story. As you know, today when people spread rumors, many people believe, right? Believe, and then bad things come of that. So remember, never to spread rumors or tell lies, right? That is something very bad. So the village believed a story lah. She was very, very happy lah. So the story spread around. It was not the truth actually. She said wickedly. Wickedly means with very, very, with a very bad heart, bad, the evil, right? This time you will be punished. So she was jealous of her beauty, remember? So she was planning to get Mahsuri into real trouble, right? So she said, this time you will be punished. And you can see a cartoon of a lady, very vicious and wicked, right? Acting like she is the bad guy or the bad woman, right? So this one Mahura, I told you in the beginning of the story, there was the wife of the Penghulu, isn't it? Right? So she went back, and then the Penghulu had also heard from the other people in the village, and one Mahura also told him right? So all these added to the rumor, right? Became like a big fire already. So the Penghulu was very, very angry. Wow. They, oh, yo, she has brought shame to our island, Langkawi, said Penghulu. So the village chief was very angry because he was supposed to protect the good name of the village. So now you have this lady, not loyal, not faithful to the husband, I'm going after another man, having a relationship. Maybe they suspected, did she commit adultery and zina in Malay, zina. All these things not true. Actually, they never investigated. So the Penghulu was very, very angry. Wow, this cartoon is a very interesting cartoon. When a person is so angry, the head becomes very hot, like fire burning out, isn't it? Right? And the heart will beat fast, And when you are angry, you do some very drastic things. And anger is a very, very bad thing. It generates bad karma. It's what we call akusala karma. In Pali, right, is you have the term called dosa, which connotes hatred and also associated with that anger, angry, hateful. All these are very bad things, mental poison, right? They will cause suffering to yourself and to others. So the Penghulu, so angry, what did he do? Let us see. Actually, as a Penghulu, actually he had to investigate, isn't it, to see whether the story was true or not. But he did not. No, he did not investigate. Penghulu did not investigate the truth of Wang Mahura's story. He should actually call up Mahsuri, and also perhaps you can call on the clock merchant and then to hear them out. A very fair hearing, but no, he didn't do that. Straight away, he sent for Mahsuri and said that I as a Penghulu, have found you guilty of zina, maybe, right? Of not faithful to your husband, and you are sentenced to death. Wow, like that one. Those days, you see how the justice went. Just like that, Imagine an innocent lady just sentenced to death because of a jealous woman, because of gossip, because of rumors being spread, and this terrible thing happened. So let us see the next thing. So Mahsuri was brought to Padang Mat Sirat. That's a certain place in Langkawi Island. And then, of course, the Penghulu called his man. And then Mahsuri was tied to a big tree, right? This big tree. Of course, he was very, very scared, very, very sorrowful. Was crying, right? Was crying because he was innocent. Of course, the villagers, some, who saw her, had some pity lah. But then, because they believe this Penghulu's wife's, story, so they didn't do anything or didn't speak up. They just pity her only. And they didn't speak up because they believe it. And let us see what would happen next. Right? So, found guilty, tied to a tree, and sentenced to death. Mahsuri, the innocent, beautiful lady whose husband, Lana, went to war. So, these two cartoons you can see lah. Just put it to tell you that Mahsuri was very, very sad or was crying and sorrowful. I'm innocent, pleaded Mahsuri. Don't kill me, don't kill me. Right? She was weeping. Right? Of course, this is a cartoon of a Malay lady. So she was also crying. Right? So Mahsuri was crying, weeping. I said, don't kill me, I'm innocent. So in her mental state, she said, if I die, I will place a curse on this island. A curse, is like a sumpah, shot, promise that something terrible will happen on this island, right? So it will be a barren land. Barren means, let's go on to the next slide to see this one first, right? Now, barren means empty, undeveloped, right? Difficult to have any cultivation of the plants or fruit trees. So it will be a barren land, undeveloped, and people will be poor and suffering. So that was the curse, on this island. So of course, it's not the proper thing to do, but maybe she in that state, she was very, very upset that she was accused and blamed, framed and blamed for something she did not do. That's why she maybe tried to be freed lah. So she said, if you kill me, then there will be a curse on this island. This island will be barren. That's what she said that now, right? Because this is a legend now, right? So the penghulu and all the men all didn't bother about what she said, about that she innocent, she was innocent, and she would place a curse if she were killed. So what did they do? The penghulu did not listen to Mahsuri's plea. The Mahsuri pleaded that she was innocent, pleaded for her life, but the penghulu did not bother. He took a crease, right? Crease, something like a knife, a crease. So, and then she was stabbed. The penghulu stabbed her. And when she was stabbed, actually he wanted to kill her already. You see here, so the crease, or you can say the sharp knife, right? Stab into her body. And a surprising thing happened. Instead of red blood flowing out from Mahsuri's body, white blood flowed out instead. So the penghulu and the villagers all were very shocked. Actually, this, according to one version of the story, this was a sign that she was not guilty. She was innocent. That's why the blood was not red and it was white. You see, there was one account like this. But anyway, Mahsuri was killed, right? Mahsuri was killed. And according to this book, right, not much written about what happened to the Penghulu and the Madura and so on. But uh, after the death of Mahsuri, right, the Siamese army attacked Narration, right, and they defeated the people of the island. The Siamese army, you can see the fighting. It came, and of course, that time, Siam, or Siam had a very quite a powerful army. So they came with their parangs, with their knives, with their swords, I don't know, maybe with their bows and arrows also, and then with the torches of fire to burn down many villages and destroy the property. So much was destroyed in the island of Langkawi, right? And the people suffered. So of course, that was a very tragic thing, isn't it? Right? And since then, during that time, there was little development on Pulau Langkawi already, you know. So it was not developing like a barren place. But we know things are different now. And sometimes the people call Pulau Langkawi as the island of the legend of Mahsuri because of the story of Mahsuri. And this is actually the Langkawi Islands. So you have a few islands nearby. I think some of you have been to Langkawi, quite an interesting place. And today is different. You find it has become a very famous tourist resort. Development has taken place, and if you go to Langkawi, there are many interesting places you can visit. You can go for the cable car ride, beautiful spots. You can go to the beaches, and you can do island hopping. The boat can take you around, and then you hop onto certain islands, and there are interesting things you can see, right? You can see birds, fishes, and then on the island itself, you have also interesting places. You have gardens, or you have fruit farms, and then also you have a beautiful gallery, art gallery, or something like a theme park in this Genting Island. So you have not been, you can visit Langkawi as a very interesting tourist resort. And one of the things you must not miss is to visit the place that Mahsuri was supposed to be killed, right? And now they have put a monument there. I'll show you that one, right? The tomb of Mahsuri. You see this, right? This is the one. You must visit it and see it, right? Actually, it's there in the island, the tomb of Mahsuri. You're supposed to be, killed in this place, right? And then there was a tomb there. Maybe she was buried there. And now, of course, it has become a tourist resort. And let us read what the inscription says in the tomb. Mahsuri binti Pandat Maya, Mahsuri, a victim of treachery. You know what is treachery? Oh, treachery is a betrayal of trust, right? So when a person of a country commits treachery or treason, not loyal to the government or to the king, it is a very, very serious criminal offense. You can be charged for treason, treachery, those days treachery, not loyal to the king or not loyal to the head of a certain area, the Pemulu and so on. And then you can be charged and punished. That's the meaning of treachery. A betrayal of trust, disloyalty. And it was, of course, due to jealousy, as we saw, right? A victim, an innocent victim of treachery and jealousy. And she was sentenced to death in the year, according to our calendar, is 1819. As she died, she laid a curse. Like just now I explained to you, the curse, a sumpah, a promise, which is dashat, terrible. They say, there shall be no peace and prosperity on this island for a period of 7 generations. Wow. Huh? 7 generations, you have the Ana, the Cucu, and then the Ana Cucu, and then the Ana Cucu. It goes on for 7 generations. Of course, this is a legend. Whether it's true or not, nobody really can prove 100%. But we are going to learn some important lessons. So this has become a tourist resort, a legend, a traditional story, right? Supposed to be historical, but not 100%, not really proof. Right? But it doesn't matter. There are so many legends we can learn from. Last time we did the legend of Batu Kawan, I think, and so many other legends. So there's the tomb of Mahsuri, right? So I hope one day, if you have not been, you could visit this place and knowing the story, then it comes alive. Okay, then we go to the most important slide, and that is lessons to learn. What sort of lessons of life? And also you can say moral points, or you can say also Dharma that we can learn, right, from this legend of Mahsuri. Now, the first one, do not be jealous. Jealousy can lead to unwholesome actions. Very true, isn't it? So jealousy is actually a negative state, an unwholesome state of the mind, and it can be associated with anger, hatred, envy, right? So ill will. So this is not a good mental state, and it generates bad karma. And a person who is jealous can do bad actions in it. As you can see the case there, right? Telling lies, gossiping, slander other people, talk bad about other people, and in the end, killing comes about. She was, in a way, responsible. The Penguru's wife, she was the one that started all this, isn't it? So she was responsible. So killing took place. So unwholesome action. So here you can see the unwholesome speech, and then first, you have the unwholesome thought, the mind, the jealous thoughts. And then after that, the unwholesome speech, the lying, gossiping, slander. So that's the first important Dharma lesson you learn. Do not practice a wrong speech. Just now we were touching on this. Wrong speech is lying. See? And this actually took place, isn't it? Where the Pengulu's wife not telling the truth actually. That she did not do anything wrong, and she lied and said that this Mahsuri had an affair, right, with the cloth merchant, and then she spoke bad things about her, and probably also she used some harsh words, and then went round telling these stories, spreading the rumor, empty talk and gossip. So it's all wrong speech, and wrong speech is bad karma, right? So you learn important Dharma lessons also. And then, of course, in this story, you could see the manifestation of these emotions. Anger, wow, the Penghulu was so angry. And of course, the Penghulu's wife, jealousy, and then after that, angry also, because she was beautiful, is it? So violence So of course you could see the killing of the violent act, isn't it? And then also you saw the attack on Kedah by the Siamese warriors in the war of battle, and that also was violence. Violence there, many suffered and killed. So all these are unwholesome actions with bad karma. So we must be careful, don't get involved in these sort of things that generate bad karma that will make us suffer. Not only in this life, but future lives also. Next life, they get reborn in woeful states because of akusala karma, which means bad karma like anger, aggressive acts, make other people suffer or harm other people or torture other people or even worse, killing other people. Right? So these are unwholesome things. Now, good and happy things will follow good actions of body, speech, and mind. This is the positive aspect. So you want good things to happen to you, right? And also your family or maybe your relatives. But of course, basically each person is responsible for his own actions, right? So you can tell that to your friends. If we do the good things, I think you know lah, right? Dana, charity, service, helping other people, and we follow the moral laws, the precepts, right? And then also our minds are trained to have good thoughts, right? Not bad, unwholesome thoughts, right? Like anger, ill will, greed, right? And then attachment, wanting this, wanting that, jealousy, all those unwholesome things. None. Instead, you have good ones. Of the mind, you have thoughts of metta, thoughts of charity, helping other people, and thoughts of non-attachment. You find that you don't just attach to things that you would not want to help other people. Those are not good thoughts. Opposite. Then also the body's actions, good body actions. You don't kill, but instead you have compassion. You don't steal, but instead you have generosity, always helping, dana. And you don't commit sexual misconduct. Your mind is having contentment, and you respect other people's rights, right? So that is the positive thing. So you see, three of the mind, and then uh, the body is also three good actions. And then the speech, instead of lying, you must always tell the truth. Instead of slander, telling bad about other people, you must speak good speech, harmonious speech that make people come together in harmony. And instead of using bad or harsh words, you speak gentle words, kind words, soothing words. This is good speech. And instead of gossip and rumoring, you speak useful things that help people, constructive things like the Dharma. So when you have all these things done, then good things will follow you. All right? The results will be good things, not only in this life, but in future lives to come also. Right? So from here you can see that we can learn actually very important Dharma lessons from this story called the Legend of Mahsuri. Right? Now, of course, this is not a live session, it's virtual, and you can't ask the questions just like in the class. In the Sunday school class, I can ask you questions and you can reply, right? But in case you have any questions, you can always also maybe write, if you no email, you can write email to me, or you can even post a message in the Facebook, right? So many ways you have to communicate because of the pandemic. You cannot come into direct physical contact. It's risky. But important thing is to learn and then to practice. No point in just learning and to get A's. No, you must practice so that the good things will come. And one good thing you can do is to share the Dhamma. Right? If you are able to share this Dhamma with other people like your friends, your family members, or your relatives, then you have done very good things, meritorious things. And when you do meritorious, it means good things that have merits, then good things will come to you. Many people don't know that there are so many ways you can do to have merits. So many good things you can do. And one of it is to share good Dharma materials. But nowadays people share what? Share all the share the violent games lah. So if you just do that, you don't do all the good things, then you find one day blessings all no more, not enough blessings. Then you face with hardship and suffering. So you remember these lessons. And I would like to thank you, boys and girls, students of the Sunday school, and also the parents and grandparents who are guiding either their children or the grandchildren, and also the teachers of the Buddhist Sunday school and the moral education, wherever it may be. I'd like to thank all of you for taking time to listen to this presentation where I discuss some important Dharma points, and I wish you all the very best for the year 2021, right? Today is just the first week of the 2021 year. So to end this, I will together with you say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May you all be well and peaceful.